It's early 1945. Millions of letters meant for soldiers overseas are stacked to the ceiling in cold, dark warehouses. Morale is plummeting, and the backlog is so bad that some mail hasn't been seen in years. Enter the 6888th Central Postal Battalion, an all-black, all-female unit with a simple but monumental mission. Sort it, ship it, and do it fast. With the eyes of the US military watching and doubting, they achieved the near impossible task. The 6888th Central Postal Directory Battalion, also known as simply the 6888, was a trailblazing unit of 855 black women, 824 of whom were enlisted soldiers and 31 officers, who served in the European theatre of operations during World War II. Their mission was to tackle a massive backlog of undelivered mail, millions of letters, photos and packages intended for the 7 million US troops, government personnel and Red Cross workers stationed across Europe. The backlog, initially expected to take 6 months to process, was cleared in just 3 months thanks to the 6888's dedication, efficiency and innovation. Before World War II, black women had been virtually excluded from military service. Though white women had been accepted into the Army Nurse Corps starting in 1901, black women were excluded except during emergencies like the 1918 flu epidemic. Advocacy by civil rights leaders, including Mary McLeod Bethune, helped pave the way for African American women to join the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps when it was established in 1942. The WAAC was later converted to the Women's Army Corps, WAC, granting women full military status, rank and benefits.
The Women's Army Corps is an integral part of the Army of the United States, and its members, who are soldiers in every sense of the word, perform a full military part in this war. There are hundreds of important Army jobs which women can perform as effectively as men. In fact, we find that they can do some of these jobs much better than the men. As more and more American soldiers engage the enemy in combat, women must replace them at overseas bases and at posts in this country. In view of the urgency of the situation, enlistment in the military service should take precedence, in my opinion, over any other responsibility except imperative family obligation.
At Aberdeen Proving Ground, valuable men have been released for combat duty by WACs, inspecting mammoth tanks, computing ordnance firing tables for the light, accurate American carbines, the carbines that have canceled the effectiveness of many a Nazi and many a Jap. Here, they also check the efficiency of remote control units and make secret ballistic measurements. These are just a few of the important and interesting jobs done by WACs. At air bases here and overseas, women soldiers perform over 25 technical jobs. War jobs now, but civilian careers later on.
Black women, however, could make up no more than 10% of the WAC force due to military segregation policies. The 6888 trained at Fort Oglethorpe in Georgia, where they underwent basic military training that mirrored that of male soldiers. The 6888 operated under the leadership of Major Charity Adams, the highest-ranking black woman in the Women's Army Corps. On the 16th of December 1944, Hitler would launch his last great counter-offensive in the West, Operation Wacht am Rhein, better known as the Battle of the Bulge. 3 German armies would punch through the thinly held Allied lines in the Ardennes sector, with the objective of driving all the way to Antwerp and splitting the British and American forces in two. As a result of this breakthrough, the Allies had to rush in their strategic reserves and try and stem the tide of the German advance. For a month, the picture was extremely confused, with Allied units moving to different sectors to try and cover the breakthrough and then crush the Bulge, returning the front lines to where they were before the 16th of December 1944. As such, this caused great confusion as to unit locations. This created a massive backlog in mail getting to the soldiers, and it was therefore the job of the 6888 to try and rectify this and get the mail to where it needed to be. The 6888 left the United States on the 3rd of February 1945, sailing on the fast liner Ile-de-France, and arrived in Glasgow on the 12th of February 1945. After docking in Glasgow, The battalion was then transported south by train to Birmingham in England. On the 15th of February 1945, the unit was inspected and marched in review before Lieutenant General John C. H. Lee, the Commanding General of the Communications Zone, European Theatre of Operations, along with Major General Robert McGowan Littlejohn, the Chief Quartermaster of the ETO, whose responsibilities included that of the mail. Once in England, they faced even tougher conditions. They were housed in cold, dimly lit warehouses filled with mail, some of it 2 to 3 years old. The work required them to organise millions of locator cards containing the serial numbers and unit assignments of American personnel. Despite harsh working conditions, they cleared enormous backlogs in both Birmingham and Rouen, and their work continued in Paris until February 1946, when they returned to the United States. They worked in 3 shifts around the clock, enduring cold and exhaustion, but maintained high productivity. The battalion's high morale and cohesive teamwork were attributed to the leadership of Major Adams and the shared drive of the soldiers to prove themselves as equal contributors to the war effort. After Birmingham, they were transferred to Rouen in France, where they worked alongside French civilians and German prisoners of war to sort through the backlogged mail. Despite working in close quarters with the prisoners of war, the unit maintained their professionalism and efficiency. After VE Day, they were then transferred to Paris, where they continued their work sorting mail for the remaining American forces still stationed in Europe. The 6888th Central Postal Directory Battalion was disbanded in February 1946 without formal recognition or fanfare. The women received only the standard military decorations for World War II service, including the Women's Army Corps Service Medal, the European African Middle Eastern Campaign Medal, and the World War II Victory Medal. The 6888 received no formal recognition for their role in reducing the huge backlog of mail within the ETO. Today, the legacy of the 6888 Central Postal Directory Battalion goes beyond their success in clearing the wartime mail backlogs. They are remembered as pioneers who broke down barriers of race and gender in the United States military, paving the way for the eventual integration of the armed forces. Their contributions underscore the idea that African American women, despite being excluded and marginalized in the 1940s, could rise to any challenge. The 6888 inspired future generations of women and soldiers to demand equal treatment and full inclusion in the US military. As retired Colonel Edna W. Cummings put it, their courage and dedication achieved a different kind of victory.